Hello and good morning from Innovaphone. Welcome to our technology partner, app partner webinar together with CloudSBC, SkyTelecom. Warm welcome to Benedikt Poss, who will lead the presentation. Some words from my side. I'm Johannes Nowak from Innovaphone in the business development. I hope most of you know me and my name. We will record this presentation, so we will post it afterwards on our YouTube channel. So if you have any colleague or a customer who's interested in this product, he can just watch this presentation as well. You can share this presentation later, so you will find it on our YouTube channel. The topic today is how to connect teams with Innovaphone in a good way. And I don't want to talk about it. Feel free to ask questions. Just use the questions form in the GoToMeeting. So you all are muted, but you can also always ask questions in the dashboard. So I will look at it. I will take care. So I will put the questions on top as soon they arrive. And Benedikt is pretty keen to see what you are interested in. So that's it from my side. Benedikt, welcome. Thank you for being here, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, and thank you all for your interest. I'm very pleased about the high number of registrations, especially in the German webinar earlier, but also now in the English one. I'm sure you're all excited about the topics. I've brought you a lot of information, so I won't waste much time with a company presentation. Just introduce myself briefly. My name is Benedikt Poss. I'm the CEO and founder of SkyTelecom, and CloudSBC is a SkyTelecom brand for our Microsoft Teams interconnection with multiple vendor systems. And today we'll focus on the Innovaphone. And I'll start by sharing my screen, and I hope you see it now. First of all, I apologize. The slides in the presentation and the CloudSBC portal are currently only available in German. But all the information in the app and our portal will be available completely in English later this month or next month latest. There is not that much text on the slides, so I hope it will not be a big thing. I try to explain everything to you in English. Until everything is available in English, if you need some, for example, marketing material or so in English, just contact us and we'll provide you with this. Yeah, this is our agenda, and we will provide you with this very soon. So we have 4 main topics today. The first one is how Microsoft Teams direct routing works with CloudSBC. The next is the deeper integration in the Innovaphone with our dedicated Microsoft Teams Phone Connector app. Then we will have a very short look on how the connection from the CloudSBC to the Innovaphone PBX is established via the reverse proxy. As we do register on Innovaphone like any other SIP device, it's everything you know and everything that is documented about this scenario is also valid for CloudSBC. So I won't dive too deep in the technical aspects, just give you an overview about the different scenarios and system requirements so that you know that you can sell it and how you can sell it to your customers. And the last part is the assignment of users and phone numbers, which is currently done via our CloudSBC web portal only. In an upcoming release, this will be also available within our app. Just give me a second. So, okay, let's start with our very first topic. It's the Microsoft Teams direct routing and how it works with CloudSBC. I guess you all have heard about direct routing. It's Microsoft native phone integration for Microsoft Teams to connect it with a public switching telephone network or your own phone system. What is different when we talk about the CloudSBC integration? We don't just connect trunks. We are not just connecting Microsoft Teams with your provider. What we do is we have a flexible full integration in your existing phone system. You might have already seen this image, which is from Innovaphone, where you can see the customer environment with your PBX and your devices, your phone number ranges, and the trunk to your PSTN provider. It's still there. It's still in the customer environment. We do not move anything to Microsoft. You don't have to order a dial plan. You don't have to give Microsoft your phone numbers or anything. It's still full in control of your system in your customer environment. This is the main difference. So Microsoft Teams will become a device of your phone system. So whenever you get a question like, can I do this and that? Then ask yourself, could I do this with a regular phone, like a Innovaphone desk phone or the soft phone? If the answer is yes, you could also do it with CloudSBC. And if the answer is no, the same applies. Like, do we charge per call? No, we don't, because it's an internal call of your phone system. And what about calls to the public switching telephone network? Which provider do we support? We don't have any direct connection with your provider. We just connect Microsoft Teams with your phone system. So when it comes to external phone calls, the trunk is still on your phone system and charges apply as you have agreed with your provider with. So you could use any provider, even your ISDN trunk or whatsoever. It is connected and compatible with your Innovaphone phone system. We won't touch this, and you can administer all the devices within your phone system. So this gives you a lot of flexibility and also allows you a parallel usage. You can see you have some users who say, I don't want to use a soft phone. I'm happy with my desk phone. Then these users remain with the desk phone. Some have the soft phone. It's all okay. But you get a request from some users. They want to use Microsoft Teams as a phone device additionally to their existing device or exclusive. And you can do all of this. Like, have a look at these three users here. One is using a desk phone only, one is using Teams only, and one is using both in parallel with no restrictions, no matter if this is a desk phone or DECT phone or the Innovaphone soft phone. It's just Microsoft Teams just becomes another device of this user. And as this is a device, you have the full control, even like the call control in the myApps client. If you have a call in Microsoft Teams, then you will see it in your call history in the myApps client. But this does not mean that you have to use myApps. If you can use both, and when we have a look on the next page, you see we do have this native integration on both sides with no additional apps. There is no app on the left, on the Microsoft side. This call button on the left is a native Microsoft function. You don't have to install an app in your Microsoft environment or locally on the PC or your smartphone or whatsoever. This call button is there as soon as you enable the direct routing. And you don't have to worry, like if you switch the tab to your calendar in Teams or so, that the app gets closed and your call gets disconnected. This is a native integration, so we do have the full feature set of everything that Microsoft supports, like call swiping between different Microsoft Teams clients. Like you start the call on your desk, on your desktop PC. Then you realize, oh, I'm in a hurry, I have to leave. Then you just swipe in your Teams client on your mobile, and the call gets transferred immediately with no interruption. But if you also use the myApps client, you will see Microsoft Teams is just another phone device, and you have the entire call history and the call control. So for example, you could start a call in Microsoft Teams and then the myApps client click on disconnect. So this is a use case with not really any benefits, but when it comes to conferencing or so, you might feel more familiar with the myApps functions than the Microsoft functions. But the most important thing, I guess, is you have full access to your call history and the directories in your Innovaphone system. Like if you wanted to call back someone, you had a call on your desk phone, or you search someone in the company directory, which is in your Innovaphone system only, just click the dial button in your myApps client, and your Microsoft Teams will start ringing. You answer the call, and the call is established. So no need of copy and paste or something. You have the full call control in both clients. One main question is how can we connect to the Microsoft Teams phone system via direct routing? What is required to do this? When it comes to CloudSBC, the good message first, it's already done. We do have a direct routing carrier trunk, which means it's a multi-tenancy trunk, which is already established. And we can route as many Microsoft 365 tenants over it. We just need your permission. We'll see this authorization a little later. But after you authorized the CloudSBC connection to Microsoft, to your Microsoft 365 tenant, the automatic configuration is done via the so-called Microsoft Graph API. It's all done in the background. There is no need for PowerShell scripts or any manual configuration in the Teams Phone Admin Center. This is all done automatically. And you won't even see an own session border controller in your Teams Admin Center. We do use a Microsoft certified session border controller, but as we use one, we are not listed as a certified SBC on Microsoft side. For those who are interested, we have a cooperation with T-Systems, so it's an AnyNode SBC in the back end of the CloudSBC. So we didn't try to implement just another SBC, which makes it better than everyone else. We figured out that AnyNode is the best working solution for us, and this is running in the backend of CloudSBC. And when you ever read some documentations about how to start with direct routing, there is this, you need this and that and certificates and whatsoever. As the direct routing trunk is between the CloudSBC and the Microsoft Teams phone system, there's not even a need for our own TLS SSL certificates. And all CloudSBC servers are located in Germany, and it's all compliant to the EU GDPR rules. If you have any specific questions about this, like a customer who's very sensitive for data privacy, just contact a member of staff. We can provide you with all the information and documents your customer may ask for.
Just a short question, because you just mentioned that the server is placed in Germany. So I'm just very impressed how many countries we have on the line here. So we have US, Sweden, Greece, Spain, Italy, France, Czech Republic, Denmark, whatever. So the question is, does it work with all these countries?
Yes. So it works with all these countries. There is no restriction from our side, and I'm not aware of any restriction from Microsoft's side, as long as the country is not, I don't know, maybe Russia or China or so. But everything in Europe and North America should be fine. We are very impressed about the amount of international requests, even from outside Europe. And if you should face like payload delays or so, and are very interested in our solution, we could consider about placing also some servers in North America. When it comes to our European experience, we have never experienced any payload or switching delays like to North Europe or so. So even Sweden or so, it's all fine. So there should be absolutely no problem in Europe. We don't really have experience with North America. If someone is very interested in a solution and wants to test it, I could provide you with some more demo tenants, and I'm really keen to hear your feedback. So if there's a higher demand, just get in touch with us. So this was the connection between the CloudSBC and Microsoft, which is already done. You don't have to deal with that. To phone systems, we have a zip TLS connection, but especially for Innovaphone, we have a more deeper integration with our connector app, which is available since about months now and available in the App Store. And I want to show you some benefits of this, which make it even more easier to set up this scenario. As we have a limited time, I will jump through the slides and show you how you install and set up the app. As like any other app you might know from the myApps platform, you go in the App Platform Manager, the AP Manager. You will find us in the official Innovaphone store, though no need to do anything special here. Just install the app, create the instance. As for any other app, there's just need for one instance to synchronize all data from this system to our CloudSBC. So just one app, and then you will see nothing, because you have to add the app to your PBX, which is done through the PBX Manager. You will see on the left there's this new item from the app platform, which provides the CloudSBC Teams Connector instance. You just click on Add App, and it's all done. You will then find it in the list of all apps. Here I've added it to the home screen. This app is for administration and licensing purposes only. So only the system administrators or your vendor has access to it. The user who wants to make phone calls via Microsoft Teams, they don't need the app, and I won't give them access to the app. So this is just for you as an administrator. So let's have a look in the app. On your first start, you will just get a question if you want to start a free trial, which maybe answers the first question if you can just test it. Yes, you can. From our perspective, it's a completely free test period. Just click on Start Trial, and you will see there are 2 steps which you have done. The first is you have to log into your Microsoft 365 account and give us the permission to access your tenant. So your user needs some administrative rights. You will get the same pop-up as you might have seen from any other application. You log in with a Microsoft account and enter your password, and it's done. It will get a list of permissions we request, like access to your users list and the Microsoft Teams Phone Admin Center. We never ever get your user password. This login is done directly on Microsoft side, and we just receive a token, which means if you ever change your password, the connection keeps established. If we had a question in the German webinar earlier, if you think about, and okay, if it's a user-based connection, the token is assigned to a Microsoft user, what happens if I delete the user? In this case, the token would be withdrawn and we would lose the connection. This is right, but it's for the synchronization only, so telephony won't fail immediately. You could just click the button again and log in with another user to fix it. No configuration is lost. It's just about refreshing the token with another user assignment. But you could also create an independent user on Microsoft side for this. As this is for administration only, this user needs absolutely no license on Microsoft side. So just create a new user on Microsoft and call it like Teams admin or CloudSBC or Innovaphone admin. Give him no license, as this user would never make phone calls, never use an Exchange mailbox or whatsoever, and then log in with this user who needs to have administrative rights, and the token is bound to this generic user. Via this user login, we already get some information about you and your company. Microsoft gives us the name of your company, first name, surname, email address. So these input fields are already filled out. You can check it, you can change it if necessary, and as always, you have to accept our terms and conditions, which I'm sure everyone has read. And after this is done, you see it's just these 4 input fields. You get the, yay, everything is done, green check mark, connection active. What happens in the background is you receive an email with a confirmation link. If you click it, you get a request to set up your password for the CloudSBC portal. And the synchronization, the data sync from the Innovaphone system to the CloudSBC is done via background service. So you don't have to use this green checkmark app any longer. You can close it. Synchronization is done even when the app is closed, as long as you don't stop the instance on the app platform. Now, before we have a look into the CloudSBC web portal, let's have a very short look on how the connection from the CloudSBC to the Innovaphone is done. So the app is like a connection from Innovaphone to the Cloud PBX for data upload, data synchronization. But for when it comes to the phone calls, we do register from the CloudSBC to the Innovaphone. This is done via the Reverse Proxy. I guess you already heard about it and you know what it is. It's a part of any Innovaphone gateway, also the virtualized the virtual appliance, the IPVA, and it's also located in the myApps cloud, which is not released yet, but I guess it will be done by the end of the month, latest probably next week. There is no need, as all these components you are already there. There is no need for a local session border controller and no need for any other component. These Reverse Proxy and Turn server, which does the media payload handling, is located on any Innovaphone. It can be run on the Innovaphone gateway, which is used as a PBX, but you could also put it on a different device which gives us 3 main scenarios, which you also find in the Innovaphone wiki because it's just a reverse proxy setup. I won't give you too many technical information for the time, but the most important thing is if the customer says, I want to have a separate device for this. For example, there is a denial of service attack from the internet. The reverse proxy might go down on a high CPU load, but my phone system must keep untouched. Okay, it's no problem. This is scenario 1. Give this customer a separate Innovaphone gateway, which runs the turn server and reverse proxy. By the way, these components are completely license-free. You don't need any license, not even a single port license on this gateway running the turn server and reverse proxy. If your customer is very sensitive and won't allow a port forwarding into the company network, yes, you could also place this dedicated gateway in the DMZ between the external and internal firewall. From Innovaphone perspective, it's always the same. There's no real difference in security mechanism because the connection is always done via the reverse proxy. Even the customer says, I don't want to buy any additional device. I just want a quick, easy, and cheap test. It's no problem. All these services can run on the same device, which has no security restrictions because the port forwarding from the internet via your router to the Innovaphone gateway is not done to the internal zip port, but to the different port number of the reverse proxy. So the same security mechanisms apply even if it's all on one gateway. You would find many more informations about this in the Innovaphone wiki if you're interested, but you need to know each scenario is possible and does not need even a separate license. In the reverse proxy, for those who are interested in, you would see we use a zip TLS connection, which means the signaling is encrypted. Signaling and payload between Microsoft and CloudSBC is always encrypted due to Microsoft regulations, but from CloudSBC to your Innovaphone PBX, it's also encrypted. It's signaling encrypted via zip TLS, and it's also payload encrypted. So the voice payload is encrypted via SRTP, and it's the port, the host name, and the forwarding to your phone system, which is configured in a reverse proxy. You of course need a port forwarding on your router or firewall, but that's it. Now we go back to, we have done all the requirements, all check marks are set. Now we have to assign the users. We do have users on the Innovaphone side, we have users on the Microsoft side, and we now have to match them. So first of all, we create a new device for the user who wants to have a Microsoft Teams integration. This can be done as always, like an admin could use the user's admin app or the advanced UI. The user itself could, if it's allowed, create a device via the profile app. But I assume you would use the user's admin app, and let's have a short look here. Like the user David Schultz wants to use Microsoft Teams phone integration. We just create him a new device. There's this hardware ID, which when we talk about zip is the same as the zip username we use for registration. And we have to set a reverse proxy flag to allow internet registrations via the reverse proxy. There are two, let's say, optional check marks. A device could be registered with the user password. This scenario would only occur if the user configures this for himself, but as an administrator, usually you would do this for the user and you don't know the user password, and you shouldn't ask him his password. You should use the PBX password instead. So set the checkmark PBX password. And we do support media relay and ICE and turn. I would skip this. Just keep in mind, both are supported. When it comes to implementation, check which is the right scenario for you. But now we have this device, Teams_245E0113 for this user. And now we switch in the CloudSBC portal, which mainly has two important menu items. On the left, you see that the second one is the voice gateways, and a little lower you find Microsoft Teams. On your first login, you will notice that the connector app already created this gateway for you with the information the app could determine by itself, like your country code and domain name and so on. Let's have a look in the settings, and you'll see there are not that many settings you could even change. There's one thing you have to do. You have to enter the PBX password if you want that the CloudSBC registers users via the PBX password. You have to tell us the PBX password. And as I said, ISO turn is optional. We do support it. If you want to use it, just fill it. If you don't fill it, we use media relay. Both is supported. Then on the list with all your users and numbers, you will see there is no one yet. So let's add one. We do have this user, David Schulz. We copy and pasted it. It's his hardware ID from the user's admin app, and just paste it here. The second question is, do you want to use the user password? No, we use the already set PBX password. And then this is the point where we assign it to a Microsoft user. So select your Microsoft Teams tenant. Usually you would only have one, but we do support an unlimited amount of gateways and an unlimited amount of Microsoft Teams tenants. This is why you can choose it. And the international phone number the user has in the Microsoft universe. I will show you this a little later, but let's assume the user, David Schulz, has this number. And after we save it, we see there's more than we entered. We see the name David Schulz, because from our Microsoft Teams integration, we know the user from the users list from Microsoft side. We know it's David Schulz. And as we have the Innovaphone app, we know from the Innovaphone side, it's extension 16, David Schulz, and so on. So you have this very quick overview if everything is done correctly. And the green LED on the front shows you it's registered. It's registered on your Innovaphone PBX, so the user should be able to make phone calls. We can switch the view and look from another perspective. Let's look from the Microsoft perspective. It's the other menu item. You will see your Microsoft 365 tenant here, and you will see there is David Schulz with this number, and it's assigned for inbound and outbound calls to this hardware device. So where's this number set? This number is set in the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, and it's stored there on Microsoft. It's what you see in your Microsoft Teams client. If you don't want to work with the Teams Admin Center at all, it's no problem. Just click the button and you can change the assigned phone number here directly in the CloudSBC portal. Saving would take about 10 seconds, not because our servers are slow, but because we synchronize it immediately to Microsoft, await a response. If there should be any error message from Microsoft, you would get it here. So there is absolutely no need to switch to the Microsoft Admin Center. It's all done here. And having a look back to this list, your customer may say, oh, I'm very sensitive for data privacy. Why does CloudSBC have to know its extension 16 and the real email address from David Schulz? So we can't change Microsoft data privacy rules, but there's just one single setting in the hamburger menu of our connector app, which is the data privacy flag if you want to transmit user details, which are not relevant for the interconnection. And if you disable this, you will see the connection still works, but on the Innovaphone side, we now just see this anonymous hardware ID. Okay, we still know it's assigned to David Schultz, so in real life, this wouldn't be a big thing, but this is all done for GDPR compliance. This is the connection. This was the connection from CloudSBC to your Innovaphone. The very last topic is licensing. And I guess it's interesting for most of you. So the first one, we do need a Microsoft Teams phone license per user. This is nothing we could change or Innovaphone could change. Just Microsoft requires this license for any user who wants to use direct routing. But you don't have to order a dial plan or whatsoever. It's just the regular Teams phone license. And it's included in E5, but for any other plan, it's just an add-on you could order via your Microsoft seller or just in your Microsoft 365 admin center. You do need a CloudSBC license per user. And you could order this via your CloudSBC distributor or reseller, but for Innovaphone, this is even much easier because starting July, it's on the Innovaphone price list. So if you have an old price list, you won't find it, but the price is valid from July 1st. You will find the connector by SkyTelecom, CloudSBC by SkyTelecom connector for Microsoft Teams as an app license in the price list. It's as it's not a real app that you are licensing, but the interconnection via our SBC, it's not available for purchase. So you can't buy it, but you can use the pay-per-use model, and it's 75 ISCs per month. And as you might know, there's absolutely no requirement for contract length or so. You could buy it and cancel it anytime. It's calculated per minute. For the myApps Cloud, it's 110 ISCs per month, but you would find this in the price list. As we are just another device, there's no additional trunk or so. We don't need an additional port license on the Innovaphone. So your Innovaphone system as it is already ready for the CloudSBC connection. You don't need to buy additional port licenses to do the test. The user, of course, needs a port license, but this is what he always needs if he wants to make phone calls for your extension number. And last but not least, there's no regular monthly fee, no setup fee or anything. So if you want to try it or want to buy it for just one user, it's this 75 ISCs per month and the Microsoft license, nothing else. Yeah, that's it.
So I just want to chew a little bit on the licensing. So just to make it very, very and crystal clear. So the first thing is it cannot be bought. So there are only rental and cloud licenses because it is a service. So and you are buying this service via our ISCs for a period of time. So that's one of the important things. Second thing is the Teams user is still handled like an additional device for your account on the Innovaphone. So you don't need an additional port license. To use telephony within Teams, you will need the Microsoft Teams phone system license. This is included in the E5 plan, but if you don't have the E5 plan, like you have an E3 plan, what is very common, then you can just buy this Microsoft Teams phone system license as a single license, but you don't have any additional costs for minutes or for dial plan or whatever. You just have per user, which once you have this phone functionality within Teams, you have to buy the phone system license or an E5 license for this user. So you don't have to have the E5 license. You can also add the phone system license to an E3 license. Another thing what is important, that was also the question in the German webinar, is how does it fit with the Innovaphone connector for Microsoft 365? It is a sorry, it is a complement product. So our product, our connector, is just for the presence synchronization of the Teams present states. What you get if you are using the CloudSBC is, of course, you get the line state. So if you do a phone call through our PBX, the Innovaphone PBX will recognize that the line is busy, and the person will be shown on the phone. But if you do, for example, a Teams-to-Teams video conference, the PBX will not know about it, and that is covered by our connector, so that we have the connection to the Teams to see that this user is now busy in a conference, and we will get this information through this connector. So it is a nice combination to have both products for these users using this integration. You don't have to use both, but if you want to have the full synchronization, the full integration, then it makes sense to have both products integrated and activated for your customer. Just one important thing is also, some people ask, why should I do that? So just to summarize it very shortly is, if people want to use Teams or they have to use Teams because it's a management decision, then you can just connect Teams as a device to a PBX, and you can use all the pretty nice function of the Innovaphone PBX. That can be the switchboard. That can be recording. So all external calls are routed through our PBX, so they all can also be recorded. And recording for a team system is very, very expensive. You can, of course, see all the calls in the reporting. So you can use waiting queues, announcement, everything what you know from the Innovaphone PBX. You can use also for calls routed to a Teams user, and the user itself can decide if they like to work with a Teams client or if they like to work with an Innovaphone myApps soft client. So they are completely free to decide which is the right client for their purpose, which is a right client they want to use, because they can use the full functionality of the PBX. So that's just to make the use case for this integration pretty clear. And as you have seen, it is really, really easy to integrate. You don't have to have a separate contract with someone selling you an SBC. You don't have to be trained on a SBC. So it is really just click and make it available for the users. Are there any further questions? So there is a question for test licenses. So that was something Benedict already showed. So if you start with the installation and with the app, so there is a button free of charge testing. So you can always start with a free of charge trial period.
Yes, and when it comes to NFR, if you really want to become a CloudSBC partner and sell this product actively to many customers, we cannot provide these licenses via the myApps for You promo for partners, but we could provide you with NFR licenses for your very own tenant. Get in touch with us, and we could do this.
There is another question, if the CloudSBC license as a rental license also works with on-premise systems which have bought their Innovaphone PBX, and yes, of course, that works. So because we can mix buy and rental licenses, so you can simply add the ISC systems or the rental licenses to a sold system, so you can just add it on top. So you can mix, in our case, single fee licenses with rental license. That's one of our unique selling point, that we have these options that you can mix it simply. So I think that was it for today. So I'm thank you for your attendance. Thank you for your presentation, Benedict. I think it's really a nice add-on to our Innovaphone ecosystem. Here in the presentation, you also can download on the GoToWebinar panel now. So I've just uploaded it. You also find the contact data with the email address. So if you have any questions directly to Benedict or to CloudSBC, just directly contact them. If you have any commercial questions, just talk to your Innovaphone account manager and partner manager, so that we can sort all your questions. But I'm pretty sure if you run into a customer using Teams and want to have high sophisticated PBX features like we provide with Innovaphone, then that's a very easy and nice integration between these two worlds. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for being here. I wish you a great weekend. Thank you, Benedict, for presenting this. It will be available on the Innovaphone YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again, it will be available, I think, during the next week. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
And see you at the next webinar.
Goodbye.